So we're going to paint a couple of chimeras or chimeras. I don't know what you call them, how you pronounce it. I call them chimeras, chimeras, doesn't matter. Anyway, this one I've started off with some zenithal highlighting on it. So the colours will come out a bit brighter on the highlights. And this one's just plain black. So usually undercoat black and then add a bit of a grey highlight or whatever. And then you can, that was the dog, went under the curtain there, okay. That dog, anyway, fix that up. All right, that's done, okay. Here we go. All right, so let's get started. We're going to look at the airbrush. Here's the airbrush, all right. So I've got an old super cheap auto airbrush I use for my bike tires and everything. So run a pipe down to the hobby part of the shed, and I use these El Cheapo airbrushes. I get them on Wish, and they're really cheap. So I don't need to, don't get the expensive ones because they cost too much to replace. Okay. What's next? All right, here we go. So we're just going to add some highlights to it. That's, what do you call it, zenithal highlighting, which is a pretty good technique. You look it up, just undercoat black, and then you're going to add some grey to it so the colours will come out. All right, so we're just going to add some grey to it, and just on the highlights on the larger muscles and things like that. Under the belly, I want the belly to look like a nice purpley colour to match the one I've got painted already. And the wings, so they'll come out a purpley blue sort of colour that I've got with the other one that I've got painted. So just looking at the shapes, the highlights of it, where the sun would hit it if it's sitting there. And let's have a look at the original. Where is it? Here it is. All right, well, there they are. All right, so they're both ready to go. So we're going to have twins. We're going to have a trio of them. But these two are highlighted and ready to go. All right, so just you can get those. There's the original one. Okay, so we're going to touch that one up a bit and try and get all three to look like they come from the same litter. I suppose they have litters, chimeras, chimeras, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so with that away, let's get on with the painting. Alright, so there's the El Cheapo airbrush, and that one's a bit clogged, so there's another one. Alright, these are pretty cheap on Wish, about 25 bucks. And I sort of have two going at a time, and I soak one in, so that one's pretty dirty. And I clean them out, but they still get clogged, so I soak them in some metho or some terps or something and give them a good clean, and they keep going. So cheap enough, better than buying those really expensive ones if you're just a mug hack airbrusher like me. Alright, so we just highlighted that one, and now we're going to add some color to it. Right, just highlighting all the highlights with a bit of grey. So game color air, so that's actually a purple, that blue looking one. So we're going to do it with a purple and then highlight it with a lighter purple. Well, we might throw in a bit of blue. Okay, so you can see there's a purpley blue. That's sort of the standard color they look like, and it looks pretty good. You know it's a chimera when it's on the table. So spraying under the belly there and trying to get some purple base coat on it. It looks pretty dark at the moment, but this is just the base coat. You can pick out some of the color, and this is an easy way to do it. Because I'm Australia's oldest Age of Sigmar player, I'm actually 200 years old. My eyesight's gone, so I airbrush everything nowadays. So I try and rough it out with the airbrush, get as much color on it as I can, and then you can go in and do the details as much as you want. You can spend as much time as you want on a figure, really. You can spend more and more time, and I see some guys, after seeing all the armies at CanCon, you could probably give up painting because they're all so good. So you do what you enjoy. That's the main thing. All right, there's that tail, so a bit of a highlight of the purple on that tail, that vicious tail attack it has. I like the Chimera. It's going to add a bit of oomph to my beastmen, who they sorely need some extra attacks. Alright, so there we go. So that's the purple base coat. Doesn't look like much at the moment, but you just see some purpley bits in there. And then we're going to add some highlight to it. Alright, so we're going to throw in a bit of blue, just for a bit of character. Just a bit of blue like my face, a bit of blue on the purple. And here's a bit of a hack. All the expert airbrushers will say, oh, you've got to clean it out and everything. I'm just going to tip the blue in there so there's a bit of a blend in color. So I've done the purple, and then I'm going to add the blue in. So the blue will just go straight in there, and there it is. Look, so I've thrown the blue in with the purple, so it'll mix in itself. There'll be a bit of a blending from the purple to the blue. Alright, so hopefully you'll see a bit of it here. You can see a bit of a blue tinge to the purple starting off. And on the parts that I want to highlight with a bit of a hint of blue to the purple. And it's going to mix around a bit. Any expert airbrushers are probably horrified at my methods, but sorry about that. Okay, all hail the expert airbrushers. Okay, we are just amateurs. We are not worthy. So there's the blue. Okay, doesn't look like much yet, and look, the color looks a bit washed out in the camera, but it is actually a lot bluer and purplier there. I'll show you a better picture in the end, and here they are. So after I roughed them all out, then I got into the details, and you can see the avian head is green, and the that's the lion head, and I was having a nice beer while I was doing that. So that's the end product. So I have a trio of chimeras, chimeras, whatever you want to call it, okay, and that's about it. So enjoy your painting, do your best, but do it to your oh, don't look at those mushrooms at the back. I hate that blue. I need to change that color. Anyway, they were from the reject shop, those mushrooms, and I repainted them. All right, so there's the trio, and that's it. Okay, so that's it. All right, so you airbrush, highlight as much as you can, and then you get stuck into the detail and you can punch them out quick. So the beastmen have got 3 big beasties flying around now, so that should be a bit of fun. Add a bit of punch, because I find my beastmen are lacking a bit of punch. They've haven't won a game yet, so we're going to hopefully crack a win with a new tactic of charging in with those chimeras. So as my friend Manfred here always says, good on you, Manfred. Have a bloody good day. All right, talk to you next time.